As a fee-only financial advisor for over 20 years, these are the most common surprises that I hear from retirees once they've made the transition. And the first surprise is, oh my gosh, Azul, why did I wait so long? Why did I not make this jump sooner? And you know, the reason most of us don't make this jump sooner is really driven by two things. The first one is fear. Fear of the unknown. We've been doing what we do it well, we know where our money's gonna come from. We have this certainty in our life. And when you make that leap into retirement, you're making a leap into the unknown. You're making a leap into, what's my new identity gonna be? How am I gonna spend my time? Where are my new friends going to come from? So it's this transition that is scary for people. And one of the biggest transitions, surprisingly, is transitioning from always saving your money and putting money into your retirement savings to actually using your retirement savings for what you saved it for, what you sacrificed for. And that's to actually spend and to enjoy your life and to not just pay for the necessities, but to pay for adventures and experiences and things that are going to bring you joy. So I think it's, obviously I'm biased as a financial advisor, but I think it's really important to have not just a financial plan that'll say, here's how much you can spend, here's the game plan. And you know, the one thing we know is things aren't going to go exactly according to game plan, but we can adjust as we go. But here's the game plan, and there's no reason to sacrifice unnecessarily. I'd say about half of my clients when they first retire are still saving 10, 15, 20% of their budgeted amount that they're supposed to be spending. And why do people do that? They do it because it's just who we are. So it takes time to learn to actually give yourself permission and to make that transition to actually spending money. Another thing that people need to get to really to master in retirement, and it's when they can start to feel a sense of relief, is, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's a lot of time. And before, we had a scarcity of time. And when you retire for a while, you're going to have an abundance of time. And so how are you going to spend that? What are you going to spend your time doing? What's your new passions going to be? That's going to take a while to figure out. But I promise you, inside of a year, you're going to look and say, how did I ever have time to work and to do these other things that I enjoy doing? So, finding that next passion, finding your next group of friends, people that you're going to do things with. Once you have that in place, you'll look back and say, I really enjoy not having to wake up at 5 a.m. I really enjoy not having to do the half-hour commute. I really enjoy not having the pressures and the demands of a full-time job. And that's one of the reasons that I talk about being thoughtful and deliberate about retiring early. It's one of the main focuses of my channel, because I've just seen people that after they make the transition, they're surprised at how much they enjoy this new life. And in many ways, they regret that they didn't make that leap earlier. And I don't want that to happen to you, and I certainly don't want to have that happen to you. If you're in your 60s, one of the things I share is at 60 years old, we only have 1,000 weeks of healthy, active time, if we're lucky, in front of us. And that's not a lot of time, and it's going to pass quickly. And unfortunately, for some of us, it's going to pass more quickly than for others. And once those weeks are gone, it's really hard to get them back, to regain your health. So I want you to think about making the transition. So I talked about kind of the fear of the unknown is one reason that people don't transition sooner. These are the two main surprises. And the first surprise for folks is just that they wish they had transitioned earlier. So again, what keeps people from doing that? One is the fear of the unknown. The second one is really knowledge. For many of us, it's not that for many, particularly of my viewers, for many of you, it's not that you don't have enough money or you won't have enough money in your mid-50s to early 60s. It's rather that you don't have a plan and you don't know whether you have enough money. And I suspect well over half of you will have enough money. And a lot of us are going to end up passing away, unfortunately, with millions of dollars unspent. I think if you have north of $750,000, certainly if you're at the $1 million or above level and you have a 30-year time horizon, the odds are highly likely, at least 50-50 in my opinion, depending on how much you spend. But viewers of my channel, we tend to be a little more disciplined, is one way to say it, in our spending. We tend to be fiscally conservative. And when you think of the tool that a lot of planners, including myself, use, which is called the Monte Carlo simulation, to try to predict whether you have enough money to retire or not, essentially what we're doing is we're using statistical modeling to make up 10,000 or 1,000 different lives and say, in what percent of these outcomes do you not run out of money during a 35 year period? And, for most of us, we want to have a 97% certainty. As a financial advisor, I want my clients to have as high of a certainty as possible. But remember, we're running 1,000 different cases or 10,000 different cases. Frankly, with today's modern computers, it's just as easy to run 10,000 simulated lifetimes as it is 1,000. So, in half of those cases, people that have $750,000 or $1 million and are spending 4% a year from that, which is providing $40,000 a year, in about half of those cases, people die with at least $1 million, right? Those are the good outcomes, and then there's scary outcomes, and that's what we're trying to protect our clients from. But have a plan, because it'd be a shame to be sacrificing today for another 5 years and then find out later, you know what, I wasn't able to spend all my money. And I think a big proportion of my viewers are going to find themselves in that situation. So that's the first big surprise, that they wish they had retired sooner. The other one is just how different your priorities. The second surprise is how different your priorities become, the new priorities that you take on. And really, as I talked earlier, you're going to have a lot of time. So, how are you going to manage that time? How are you going to invest that time? How are you going to spend that time with people that you enjoy being with, to give you a skip in your step and to help you really enjoy retirement? And the second one, frankly, is health. None of us are going to stay healthy forever, unfortunately. And so how do we maintain our health? How do we invest in that? Both by, fitness, physical fitness, going to the gym, working out, but also just taking the time to, maybe meditate. That's something that I've always wanted to do that I've never really gotten into the habit of. But how do we take care of ourselves mentally and physically? And really the way you do that is spelled with 4 letters, T-I-M-E, and then also C-A-R-E, time and care, taking care of yourself. So those are the 2 main surprises that I see people go through when they retire. I also want you to watch this video here where I talk about 8 things that I think we all should think about stopping as we approach 60 to enjoy the journey more. Again, 8 things to consider stopping doing to enjoy your 60s more. I'll see you in there. Bye-bye.